Hi everybody, Dan Illman here with some exciting news. DRF Formulator, the gold standard in past performance information, is now free, exclusively on DRF Bets. Join DRF Bets with the promo code WINNING, get a $250 first deposit match bonus, a $10 free bet, and free Formulator already uploaded to your account. Access Formulator's premium features, including sortable trainer stats, race replays, personalized trip notes, and lots more. Free Formulator, exclusively on DRF Bets. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, kicking off the 50-cent late pick 5 at Gulfstream Park on Pegasus World Cup Saturday with this race, the 8th, 7/8 of a mile on the main track, fillies and mares. Here's the field for the Grade 2 Inside Information Stakes. Pacific Gale, one of our favorites. It's going to be the last rodeo for Pacific Gale, Mike. She's earned $650,000 in her career, and she won this race last year. All of a sudden, she sprang back to life at Gulfstream Park. Maybe the switch back to South Florida wakes her up again.
It'll be interesting to see if that happens. Pulled off something of an upset in this race last year, whereas you say all of a sudden she just got good again and ran two big races down here. Back to Gulfstream Park. We'll see if it wakes her up a little bit. Been a good horse for a long time, Dan. Not the most prolific winner in the world, but on her best day, she's pretty good.
Mike, what do you make of this pace scenario? We're going to throw up the time form US pace projector, and I know that 2AG Indy's fast, but she's shown turf speed. If she translates her turf speed to dirt, she's going to be on the lead, stretching out from 5 to 7 for Todd Pletcher. I'm just not sure she can step on the dirt. If she doesn't go, it makes the pace a little bit more interesting and maybe easier for a horse that might need an easy pace just one time.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what AG&D does because it feels like she is a real wild card in here. Very, very hard to trust switching back to dirt for the first time since her debut. I guess her recent form is good, though. I think they are going to go a pretty good pace in here. Certainly, it feels like, Dan. I know Jakarta, the 7, sort of got away with murder on the main track in her most recent start, but isn't she just a one-way speed?
She is a one-way speed. And Family Time, the number 1, her best races have come when she's on the lead, but those races have come going slightly longer. I don't know whether she has the sprint speed to run with these horses, but let's watch Family Time's last race. She gets through her one other than condition for Dale Romans. She was able to get to the lead here, and she really digs down deep and is getting away at a price. She pays $30.
Yeah, cutting way back in distance for this race, but she still was able to get to the lead early. Fights off this challenger through the stretch and prevails. Ran fine in here, more game than anything else. All 3 career wins so far, Dan, as you mentioned, they're all in route races, and they're all when she was able to get to the lead early, and that's not going to be easy for her to accomplish in this spot.
AG Indy, now with Todd Pletcher, is a nose away from bringing a 4-race win streak into this race, albeit all those races on turf. Stepped up successfully into stakes competition in the Senator Ken Matty, but had a beautiful trip in doing it.
Yeah, had a great trip. Managed to prevail at the end. Took another step in the right direction there with a new top buyer of 90. I don't know, Dan. Her recent form is obviously good on turf. I will point out, though, that all 3 of the wins are at 5 furlongs. And when they went 6 with their 2 starts back, clear stretch lead, could not hold on. And now they're going to try 7 on the dirt. Listen, if she was going to be some kind of a big price in here, I'd say, all right, if you want to take a shot, go ahead. It feels like she could actually take money in here. Why would you want to bet this horse at a short price?
Dance Dioro in good form for a dependable trainer in Ralph Nix. Let's watch her last race. It was the Rampart going a 1-turn mile. And in this race, she was able to make the lead. She cuts the corner, turning into the stretch, and keeps on going. Maybe not a vintage edition of the Rampart. She only earned an 85 buyer, but she earned a big fig 3 back when getting loose on an easy lead. I'm not sure that trip is available to her here.
Yeah, to me, that's the big question about Dance Dioro in here. I do think she's a contender in this race, more so maybe because it's not a super strong Grade 2 field. So it feels like they're in the right spot with her. And I do like some of her races, but man, is she another one at her best when she can just make her way to the early lead. And in none of her races so far, Dan, have they gone, particularly fast paces. It feels like they are going to go faster in here. So if she's another one of those horses who just takes money in this spot, I feel like I would just rather have other horses.
Our next two entrants, Mon Petit Chou, Four Graces, both making their second starts off long layoffs after running at Gulfstream Park in an optional claiming race. Mon Petit Chou will start with her. She's a little bit slow on paper, but she's also lightly raced. I wouldn't be surprised if she does take a step forward in her second start back.
Yeah, we'll see if she can do that because obviously she has to. I thought she ran a couple of okay races last year, Dan. I like that she has tactical speed. She's done it, sort of from off the pace in most of her races. She didn't run great last time, but it was a 7-month layoff. She was down on the rail and sort of lost position around the turn before she tried to race on through the stretch. She didn't run great, but she didn't run terrible. And maybe she can take a step forward here at a big price.
Four Graces just seems like a 7/8 of a mile specialist. All four of her victories have come at this distance. Multiple graded stakes winner in 2020. Just hasn't been running a lot recently. She ran in the Roxolana, her one and only start in 2021 off of a long layoff. She was overmatched against Bell's the One that day. Then she went away for another 6 months, and she ran okay as the beaten favorite last time out. It's nice to see her back without another layoff line. This horse showed a lot of ability earlier in her career, Mike. You could argue she's the most naturally talented horse in the race.
Yeah, I would argue that. I wonder how they're going to bet this thing, Dan, because to me it feels like that 9-2 morning line is a really generous price based on I know you're basing that on what she did as a 3-year-old, and she never really got to do anything last year. She didn't run great last time. It was another layoff for her though. She was sort of getting to that winner at the end though before she just missed. I feel like that was sort of a useful effort off the layoff, and now she's putting races together again. To me, if she just shows up and runs one of her good races here, she's probably going to win.
Defending champ Pacific Gale, the number 6, caps off her career on Saturday. She goes turf to dirt throughout the last race. It was a grass experiment. Two back, they shipped her to Parks to challenge Chub Wagon, the Mid-Atlantic's leading dirt sprinter. And Chub Wagon was just a little bit too much for Pacific Gale on this day. She ran okay. It was a race that produced a couple of next out winners. Chub Wagon, one of them, came back to successfully stretch out with an 88 buyer.
Yeah, this is a fine performance. Only second best in this race. I don't really know what to say about this horse, Dan. Obviously, she can win. She's just really, really difficult to get a read on. We talked about those two wins, the two graded stakes wins over this track last year. And you feel like, well, maybe getting back to Gulfstream will help her. I'll just point out that she also ran twice over this track in 2020, and she was terrible in those races. So I don't really know what to say. I know that she can win on her best day. If she's, some kind of big price, and I'm talking, 15 or 20 to 1, maybe I'll try to use her.
While Jakarta might be best known as a turf sprinter, you look at her dirt record and it's pretty remarkable. 6 for 12 lifetime, including this victory at Parks last time out. First time for trainer Michael Trombetta. Now, Jakarta broke from the rail in the Mrs. Claus Stakes going 7/8, and she was able to open up a little bit on the far turn. And this was by far her best dirt race, a 93 buyer. And it's a really heartening to see because I think some handicappers, myself included, were wondering if Jakarta had seen better days.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, she's 6 for 9 on fast dirt in her career. So it feels like maybe, this has been her best surface all along, and she just hasn't really gotten a chance to do it recently. The one, cause for concern for me, Dan, is she absolutely walked on the lead last time. I mean, I know she beat a good horse and Miss Mosaic, who came back to beat a good field at Oaklawn last week. But man, this horse got absolutely loose on a slow pace that day, and it feels like they're going to go faster in here.
Just one time, 3 for 3 lifetime on dirt, will be making her first start for Brad Cox. She scored against weaker Pennsylvania bred competition, and the race will show you right now. This is at Penn National, the new start stakes, and she was able to use her good speed to get up close to a mild pace. She took over at will under a very confident ride, and she's just too good for these horses. Now, while she is stepping up in class, she is lightly raced. She's now going first time Cox, and her figures put her in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, all those things are true. The longer I looked at the race, Dan, the tougher it was for me to really warm up to this horse. I won't be surprised when she runs well and maybe even wins this race because it's just not that strong of a field. I have some real questions about the 96 buyer for that race 2 starts back. I don't see how she got that figure for that race. When you compare it to the horses that finished behind her, that was an awful field. The runner-up in that race ran the fastest race of her life as well. That's a horse who was winning 5 claimers prior to that and can't buy her out of the 70s. I don't know. Maybe she did run that fast because she did come back and win with a 90 last time. I just think she's going to be the favorite in here, and I want no part of her as the favorite.
That's certainly fair. With Rosario aboard for Cox, source might be a little bit overbet. I'm worried about that. Crumbum won her last 2 races. She was offered for a tag in both of them, including this start on January the 13th. This was her first race off of a little bit of a layoff. It's nice to see a horse win races. She's going to have to run a lot faster. She's taking a pretty large step up in class.
Yeah, she is. A lot working against her. I just respect the fact, Dan, that she's very consistent and very tactical as a racehorse. So I just feel like she could get a good trip in this race. And I like this performance from her. They rated the break with her, sort of took her off the pace. The horse that she ran down there was a pretty significant favorite. And I liked the way that she finished to close that race down. I could use this horse at a price.
Starship Nala beat a couple of these last time out in the race we're going to show you right now, and she's still going to probably be a good price in this race despite this victory. You see her coming wide off of the stretch. She's just going to hold off 4 Graces to win this race with a nose. This race did not come back very fast, but Starship Nala, nice to get her back onto the beam. I don't know. I think maybe I would take 4 Graces out of this race. I'm still debating.
Yeah, I think I would take 4 Graces too. Starship Nala ran fine in there, though. Got right up on the pace and held on to the end. I wonder if 7 furlongs is really what she wants, Dan. 0 for 7 over this distance. You have that sheer drama from last September where when you go back and watch that race, it feels like she just had no excuse in there, made the lead in the stretch and got run down by a 35-1 shot at the end. I don't know. I didn't love her at 7 furlongs, but she was pretty good last time.
Top pick time for the inside information. After Mike's analysis of just one time, I'm starting to have a little bit of buyer's remorse. It's really going to be all about price. If this horse just gets hammered because of her connections, I'm going to take everything Mike said and I'm going to probably apply it because he makes a very fair point about that 96 buyer. I'm banking on upside, good tactical speed, and for her to be right in the mix turning for home. 4 Graces I have to use in the pick 5 because this horse, again, showed a lot of ability earlier in her career. And I think this is a good spot for her to make her return to stakes action.
Yeah, that's what I liked about her too, Dan. I mean, I don't love her last race, but I'll just say that maybe she needed it off the layoff. If she can get back to that 3-year-old form, and maybe she can't, but if she does, I just think she's going to be really hard on this field. Just one time, she's just not my kind of horse at a short price. I recognize that she has upside and could easily win this race, but if she's going to be the favorite, I want somebody else.
5943 for Mike, 8759 for me. It's race number 8 at Gulfstream Park on Pegasus World Cup Saturday. It's Mike's favorite horse, the inside information. Good luck.